You ever have one of those days where you wake up, shuffle into your kitchen, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and by the time you've finished it, you realize you're technically the victim of a felony? Yeah, that happened to me. Buckle up, because this one's got everything. An overzealous Karen, a squad car gone missing, a cameo by the chief himself, and just for flavor, a twist that'll make you rethink just how much power your neighborhood HOA really has. So my name's Walter. I've been a patrol officer here in Richmond, Virginia for 11 years, long enough that the smell of cheap coffee and radio static pretty much lives in my pores. Part of the job, though, is taking my patrol car home. It's city policy, quicker response times, more police presence on the block makes everyone feel a bit safer. Unless apparently your name is Karen and you see a marked police cruiser as a personal attack on your property values. Now, I'd lived in Riverside Gardens for 6 years. Nice little neighborhood, nothing too fancy. Mix of families, retirees, the kind of place where the most exciting thing you hear on a Saturday is someone's grandkid learning to ride a bike. HOA here is mostly hands-off trim, your grass, pay your dues. Don't let your house look like a scene from Hoarder's Basic Stuff. For 6 years, nobody said a word about my squad car. It's not exactly subtle white with blue stripes, big old light bar on top, city seal right on the doors, police stamped in letters the size of your forearm. You'd have to be either half blind or actively ignoring reality to think it's anything but a police vehicle. But hey, I parked it in my driveway. Everyone waved. Life went on. Then Karen showed up. She moved in 4 houses down, big golden blonde hair, real Stepford wife energy, and within a week she was holding court on Nextdoor about neighborhood standards. First it was the kids on bikes too loud, then the dogs barking, public menace apparently. But her crusade really kicked off when she spotted my patrol car. About 2 weeks after her grand entrance, I found a note tucked under my windshield wiper. It read, "Commercial vehicles are not permitted in driveways per HOA rules. Park this vehicle elsewhere." Well, you know how some notes have the power to ruin your morning. This one just made me laugh. Police cars aren't commercial vehicles. They're, government vehicles, emergency vehicles. If anything, my car's the reason your Amazon packages actually make it to your porch instead of getting snatched. A week goes by, another note. This time, final warning. Remove commercial vehicle or it will be towed. Now at this point, I figure maybe I should clear things up, so I called Dennis, the property manager for our HOA. Dennis has the world-weariest voice, like he's spent his whole career in middle management purgatory. Officer Hayes, he tells me there's no issue. We explain to the new resident that police vehicles are exempt. I thank him, hang up, and go about my business thinking, well, that's the end of that. Yeah, not so much. A couple nights later, I work a brutal overnight 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. One of those shifts where you start to question your life choices somewhere around 4 a.m. I drag myself home, park the cruiser in my usual spot, stumble inside, and basically collapse into bed. Fast forward a few hours, about 3 p.m. I wake up, stagger to the window, rub my eyes, and my patrol car is gone. And not like, oh, maybe I parked around the corner, gone. I mean, vanished. No note, no call, nothing. For half a second, I wondered if I'd actually made it home last night or if I was still running traffic stops in my dreams. Panic rising, I call my sergeant. Sarge, did the department pick up my unit? It's not in my driveway. His answer. No. Hayes, your unit should be with you. What happened? It's gone. I tell him, trying not to sound like the world's worst cop. He says, let me make some calls. Stand by. 5 minutes later, he calls back. Hayes, your unit was towed by Richmond Recovery Towing at 11:30 this morning. It's at their lot on Midlothian Turnpike. The tow was requested by an HOA representative for violation of parking rules. I'm pretty sure my blood pressure hit numbers they haven't invented yet. So to recap, Karen, the woman who's been told in writing that my vehicle is allowed calls, the tow company claims she's got HOA authority and has them haul off a police cruiser. A marked city-owned police cruiser. You can't make this stuff up. I drive my own car down to the impound lot. The manager, heavy-set guy with a face like he's eaten nothing but Slim Jims for 30 years, meets me at the gate. I flash my badge. I'm Officer Walter Hayes. That's my patrol vehicle you've got here. It was towed from my residence without authorization. He shrugs. We got a call from an HOA president requesting removal of a commercial vehicle. We just follow orders. I ask if they even checked what kind of vehicle they were towing. He just gives me the old, not my job, man, routine. Then get this, he tells me I'll need to pay the towing and storage fees to get my own squad car back. I might have laughed if I wasn't ready to explode. I'm not paying a cent for an unauthorized tow of city property. That's a police vehicle. Release it or you'll be facing charges for theft. You should have seen this guy's face like someone just told him he was out of Slim Jims. He calls his boss, whispers a lot, then sheepishly hands me the keys. One of their guys brings the cruiser out and I immediately see scratches on the bumper undercarriage, exactly what you'd expect from towing a vehicle that's not meant to be towed that way. I take pictures, document everything, then call my sergeant again. He tells me the chief wants to see me in his office first thing in the morning. Fantastic. Nothing like a summons from the boss after your car gets kidnapped. Next day, I'm sitting in front of Chief Daniels and Captain Morrison. I lay out everything, Karen's notes, my call with Dennis, the whole unauthorized tow saga. The chief listens, jaw set so tight you could use his face as a nutcracker. Finally, he says someone towed a marked police vehicle from an officer's private residence without authorization. That's theft of city property. Captain Morrison adds, who authorized the tow? I tell them. Karen Stevens, lives at 1847 Riverside Gardens. Daniels turns to Morrison, dead serious. Captain, I want a full investigation. This woman caused the theft of a police vehicle. Charge her appropriately. Enter Detective Lawrence, quiet guy, always looks like he's solving a Rubik's Cube in his head. He digs through the tow company records and finds Karen's call. She claimed to be the HOA president, said a commercial vehicle was parked illegally. The tow company didn't check a thing, they just showed up and hauled it off. Detective Lawrence also gets a statement from Dennis, the HOA manager, confirming Karen had been explicitly told she had no authority to tow police vehicles and that police cars are exempt. That's important because now Karen can't play the I didn't know card. 3 days later, Detective Lawrence and another officer knock on Karen's door. I'm not there, but I get the full play-by-play after. Apparently she opens the door, and the second she realizes it's the cops, her face goes from I run this neighborhood to I forgot to pay my taxes. Detective Lawrence says, Miss Stevens, we need to speak to you about a vehicle tow that occurred last Thursday. She sticks to her story. I ordered the tow of a commercial vehicle violating HOA rules. Lawrence tells her police vehicles aren't commercial. You were told by your HOA that you couldn't do this. You ordered the tow anyway. She actually says, get this, I'm the HOA president. I have authority to enforce rules. To which Lawrence replies, no, you don't. You caused a city-owned police vehicle to be removed without authorization. That's theft under Virginia law. Karen turns white as a sheet. Theft. I just had it towed. Well, when a government vehicle worth $40,000 disappears because you lied about your authority, just had it towed doesn't fly. Virginia law calls that grand larceny a felony. And suddenly Karen's HOA reign comes to a very abrupt end. She's arrested and charged. Her attorney tries but she thought she had authority defense, but the evidence is crystal clear. She was told repeatedly that she had none. Prosecutor doesn't hold back. Miss Stevens knowingly ordered the theft of a city police vehicle after being told she had no authority. She caused damage and interfered with an officer's duties. This was intentional. Eventually, Karen takes a plea. She pleads guilty to unauthorized use of property, gets a year in jail, 6 months suspended, so she actually does 4 + 2 years probation, restitution for damages, and a $5,000 fine. Also 200 hours of community service. HOA boots her out as president, issues me and the department a formal apology, and clarifies loudly that Karen acted on her own. And here's where the twist comes in. You'd think the story ends with Karen being perp walked out of the neighborhood, but the new HOA president is this retired firefighter named Thomas. Total 180 from Karen. First thing he does is come to my house, shakes my hand, apologizes on behalf of the board, and tells me, "We're glad to have you here. Officer Hayes, this community values your service." That's when it hits me. Sometimes it only takes one person with a chip on their shoulder and a little bit of perceived power to turn your life upside down. But it only takes a few people with common sense and a spine to put things right. You want to talk about lessons learned? Here's mine. The law doesn't care about your HOA title, your threats, or how many passive-aggressive notes you can write. Sooner or later, you mess with the wrong person or the wrong property, and karma's going to park itself right in your driveway. After all that, Karen put her house up for sale the day she got out. Heard she moved to North Carolina, can't say I blame her. Her replacement, a retired Navy vet. Guy introduced himself with a handshake and told me he appreciates having a cop next door. Sometimes the universe really does hit reset at just the right moment. Oh, and the tow company. They didn't get charged, but the city took them off the approved list for 6 months. Maybe next time they'll actually check who's giving them orders before they try to drag off a squad car. I still live here, still park my cruiser in the driveway. The scars from that unauthorized tow, little scratches on the bumper, some scrapes underneath, they're a daily reminder that some folks just can't stand not having control. But also a reminder that most people, they just want to feel safe. And they know the difference between enforcing a rule and breaking the law. So let me ask you this, where's the line? When does enforcing the rules cross over into abuse of power? Have you ever seen someone's authority go to their head? Or maybe you've been on the receiving end, felt the sting of someone weaponizing the rule book against you? Drop your stories in the comments. Let's hear about your run-ins with HOA nightmares, power trips, or hey, maybe a time you saw karma come knocking. Because at the end of the day, justice isn't always about a badge or a gavel. Sometimes it's just a marked police cruiser parked right where it belongs.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.